It's time now for Media Watch with Emma James. Good evening, Emma.
Hi there.
And we're starting out with a look at the controversy on the newsstands here in France. Paris Match publishing new images of the terror attack in Nice on the eve of the anniversary.
Yes, absolutely. It's certainly not the first time that Paris Match has courted controversy, although it is quite a glossy magazine and it has lots of celebrity profiles in there. It does also do a lot of hard-hitting journalism, and some of it can be quite tricky to stomach. And of course, this issue that's out today comes out the eve of the anniversary of the attack in Nice. Now, this magazine was almost pulled from the newsstands altogether. Paris Match knew that there was going to be criticism. This was posted on their website last night. Olivier Royan, the editor, said that the magazine fights tooth and nail for the right of citizens and first and foremost the victims to know exactly what happened during the attack. Now, the reason this has caused such controversy is they've actually taken CCTV images, which hadn't been published before, during the attack as it happened. Now, the images are very blurry, they are at a distance, and this is what Paris Match was saying, that they're very similar to what we've already seen on television, and also you cannot identify those people who are in it. However, there was a lot of controversy over it, unsurprisingly. Many of the news sellers in Nice, particularly on the Promenade des Anglais where the attack happened, actually refused to sell Paris Match. There were signs up in the windows saying that they didn't want to profit from the sadness of the town and its victims. Lots of angry people online to Paris Match can sell their rag with our dead, says this person, and the hashtag gutter press. Yeah. Jean-Charles Brizard, who is an analyst and expert in matters of terrorism, tweeted this: decency and respect for victims and their families on the first anniversary of the attack, is it too much to ask? Now, he got a direct response from Régis Le Sommier, who appears here on France 24 quite regularly. He's the associate editor-in-chief of Paris Match. And he says that to respect them is to show the reality of what they've experienced. He went on, he's been replying to many people who've been criticising the magazine today. He says, we show the result of terrorism in Nice as we do in Mosul. And it is true that that is the case. But I think really the key to the problem here is the timing of it. Some people, though, not quite so critical of them. This Twitter user saying that in France, we prefer watching the rest of the world's misery, but as soon as it comes to our own problems, it's better to hide everything. But Nice's mayor was among those to be outraged. He was among those who asked for the magazine to be pulled. The Paris prosecutor investigating these attacks, actually, it went to court this afternoon. The families asked him to step in, saying that this was offensive to the memory of those who died. But Anne-Elisabeth Moutet asks, would it be better to show nothing? It is the reality that is obscene, not the photographs.
I agree. Now, moving on, you've also been taking a look at the visit of the US President Donald Trump, the expectation and then the reactions.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, a lot of people are wondering quite how this one would play out. And of course, we haven't finished yet. Charlie Hebdo, the weekly satirical, has this on the front page. And it's got Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump with their heads on spikes. And it says, make 14 juillet, or the 14th of July, great again. Because, of course, it is the 14th of July, Bastille Day parade tomorrow. There'll be lots of pomp and circumstance. Interestingly, though, according to a survey, 6 out of 10 people actually approve of the fact that Emmanuel Macron extended this invitation to Donald Trump to attend this parade tomorrow. So interesting that so many people seem to like the idea of this. Politico has a great item which talks about why, after all of his very, very public, not exactly criticism, they call it dissed in this headline, why Emmanuel Macron dissed Donald Trump and now is dining with him. And it is a good question because he very much went out of his way to make a point, take a stand against Donald Trump. And Judah Grunstein in this article says the handshake heard around the world. It was a message that Emmanuel Macron was not going to be intimidated. And of course, after Donald Trump pulled out of the Paris climate deal agreement, again, Emmanuel Macron took to the internet, broadcast live in English, came out with that phrase that proved so popular, make our planet great again. And really, he set his stall very, very clearly, saying that he was against many of the things that Donald Trump stood for. However, as we know, with Vladimir Putin. He also invited Vladimir Putin to Paris, then criticised the Russian press for meddling in the French elections. So, according to this article, he felt the need to show the two bullies looming on either side of Europe's shoulders that he was not afraid to stand up to them, in person and to their face. Having done that, he can now make nice, extend the hand of diplomacy and basically say it's not too late for him to change. So how have people been reacting to this? Well, a lot of people were concerned that there were going to be many more obsessive articles about the handshake between the two men, because of course that handshake, the initial time that they met, officially speaking, it was quite a white knuckle ride, shall we say. This Twitter user saying, I don't want the Trump-Macron meeting to happen primarily because I cannot read another analysis of a handshake.
That was picked apart, huh?
There have been many, many of them. And this Twitter user reminding everyone of that initial handshake that caused so many headlines and got so much attention. The US Embassy in France has been tweeting images, and it does look very much from these as though all passed off peacefully. Certainly the handshakes between Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump appeared to be fairly unnoteworthy. However,
I saw that. With
Donald Trump, there always has to be something that goes a little awry. And this was a handshake with Brigitte Macron. And I have to say that in the GIF, it looks worse than it does in reality, because it wasn't quite as violent as that. But when it's repeated, and of course with her tiny, tiny, frail little arm, it does look terrible.
But he did the two kisses on the cheeks, but he really looked like he was grabbing her. Anyways, thank you very much for that, Emma James there.